Hey guys, Simon here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're doing another comic book issue review. We're looking at Helen of Wyndhorn, number 5. This is the penultimate issue, and I'm really loving this story. There's no changes to the art team. It's still Tom King, Bill Guscevely, Matthew Lopez, and Clayton Cowles. And the story here was broadly really great. I am kind of getting a bit annoyed at some of the things that Tom King does. I don't really like the story within a story within a story kind of concept that he really manages to work a lot. I just read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in the deluxe edition, and I loved how it looked and how the story actually went by. But it's one of those, like, I guess it's like an author tick, right? Where he likes this sort of structure, and it's not really my favorite because I feel it distracts a bit from the storytelling. And I really noticed it in this case a bit more than usual, which is saying something because I think I've mentioned it in every one of our discussions on this series, right? But I just kind of was a bit annoyed at it in this one specifically. But it's really important to have that kind of framing device based on the way that he tells his story anyways. So it's kind of hard for me to be like really annoyed at it because I know that that's essential to the way he's storytelling, but also he could have written differently so he didn't have to do it that way. So I don't know, but it doesn't really matter too much. So let's get into the issue here. So it opens up with this amazing, gorgeous, beautiful pinup of Othan and Shara from the collection that the boy bought at the end of the last issue, right? So this boy turns out to now be a grown man. He's living out of his house, or he's living somewhere else, not in his house any longer. His mom is looking at all his stuff, and she's like, dude, your stepdad wants to turn the basement area of our house into a man cave, but all your stuff is in here. What do I do with it? The boy is like, Mom, please don't sell my stuff. I love this. I know what I don't even know all of it. I just want you to take care of it. It kind of doesn't really do much for now. But does come back at the end, right? And the mom actually ends up putting it all up for sale, which is infuriating. I hate that. Like, dude, if your son cares so much about something and he asks you to do like something for him and you choose to ignore it, that's fucked up, right? But it is what it is. It's a it's a thing that happens to a lot of people. Thankfully, my mom has never done anything like that, but it just sucks, right? So what happens is that at this point we go back in time, back to Helen, and we get to see that Helen is mad at the closed door to the armory. She's angry that she can't go in there and get her weapons. She tells Joseph and the governess, Lilith, hey guys, why am I not allowed here? Joseph tells her to relax, to calm down, because she is no longer allowed because Barnabas doesn't want her to be. And she gets mad at him. She's like, dude, you trained me, you know what I'm capable of. Why are you not letting me do this? And he says, because you're not allowed. And they have a bit of a confrontation there. Joseph is ultimately happy that she confronts him, but has to stick to his rules, right? He has to follow the edicts set by Barnabas. And then there's this kind of a sly remark that is kind of made at the end there, where Joseph is really proud of Helen, but he's still better than her. So he knows that she's not really ready based on what Barnabas told him, right? So yeah, she tries to confront him. She's a really good fighter, but she can't move him out of the way, so she leaves. Later, she goes back to Lilith, and basically she just wants Lilith to act in a motherly fashion for her, right? So she's there for some motherly comfort, and she's in this deep pain, right? She has a deep sadness left in her from the death of her father because he suicided himself, and she just needs someone to hold her. She has this depression, this depressive mood that's really overbearing at this point. And so she and Lilith have a kind of a motherly kind of situation there, kind of an interaction there, where Lilith gives her that comfort that she seeks, right? The next day, Lilith finds the bed that they were sleeping in empty. And she gets worried about this because of the deep depression that she knows that Helen is in, and she goes outside to find her. And she catches her right as Helen is about to go into that hidden grotto where the door to the other world is. When they get there, they find the door crone, and Helen kills her in a show of hate and anger. And Lilith is appalled at this, but also kind of understands where Helen is coming from, because the door crone would not let her pass. Barnabas had forced her to not let anyone besides him pass, and so Helen got mad and killed her, because this is kind of how you solve problems in the other world. And it also slows down her grandfather from coming back to our world, so she kind of finds it valuable to do this, right? Later, Barnabas comes back. He's angry at Helen. She doesn't really care. She's like, dude, you suck. I'm gonna do whatever I want if you don't take me with you, so here it is. She hates her grandpa. Later at night, after this confrontation, Helen is in the garden with these beautiful fairies that are flying around, and it turns out that she's been looking for rope, but she couldn't find any because she wants to hang herself, and she's sad that she couldn't find them so that she could go on and join her dad, right? And she's so sad and so scared, and Lilith is there to comfort her, right? The next day, Lilith goes to Barnabas. She finds him, and she gets mad at him. She's like, dude, you are a piece of shit. You're a horrible father figure. You are literally destroying this young girl because you're being negligent, right? And they're doing this in this swamp area that has another entrance to the other world. And so Lilith is disturbing the area, right, with her yelling. And she's saying a lot of meaningful, important stuff to Barnabas, right? But Barnabas is like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? You're stirring up emotions in here that should not be stirred. There is gonna be problems, right? She's still yelling at him. She doesn't care. And then suddenly a fucking giant snake comes out of the swamp. I guess it'd be kind of like a loch, right? Because this is like a Loch Ness monster. And Barnabas has to fight the hell out of the snake and kill it as Lilith berates him. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed this interaction. I thought it was really, really valuable and really enjoyable to watch. And eventually he manages to kill the snake and save her. And then Barnabas heads home to go find Helen, and she follows after him. And I thought it was really great. The ending here at the end of the issue is what I mentioned at the beginning, which is the mom of the kid putting up his stuff for sale, kind of like a garage sale. And that's where the issue ends. Apparently the next issue is supposed to wrap up the story. It's supposed to be about Helen's last adventure. I'm guessing Helen dies at the end of the adventure, and or she stays in the other world. But I'm kind of curious how they're gonna wrap up the end of the modern day story, because it doesn't really feel that important. It was most important as a framing device at the beginning, but I'm guessing that it's going to connect to a different pulp writer that will eventually tell the story completely at the end, right? Because that's kind of something that some pulp writers did, right? So Edgar Rice Burroughs, the creator of Tarzan, and more importantly to Tom King, I think, the creator of John Carter of Mars, right? The Barzoomian saga. And I'm saying this because the story in Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is much more similar to like a Sword and Planet story than it is like a normal pulp story. He used to write the Barzoom novels, the John Carter of Mars novels, as if he was being told information from his uncle John Carter, right? So I think that's kind of what's going to happen here. I'm not really sure, right? I'm just speculating, but I think that'd be fine. Otherwise, I'm not really sure how this is going to end. I'm guessing Helen dies. I'm going to be sad about that. I think that this story being only 6 issues is kind of disappointing. I think this could have been a 12-issue series. It could have been a lot of adventures. It could have been framed a bit differently to make it a bit longer, right? Maybe it could have been about Helen, like the same concept, but without the narrative framing, and it would have been able to deal more directly with Helen's feelings, right? Because a lot of this isn't really like Helen of Wyndhorn is the main character of the story, but we don't really know her deep thoughts, right? Like, we don't understand who she is as a person from the inside. We only understand through Lilith's perspective, right? So I would have liked it to be different, but at the same time, this creative team is amazing, and I really want them to work on other sword and sorcery or space opera type series, right? So we'll see what happens there. But this was a great issue. I really, really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let me know what you thought about it down below, and thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later.